It's madness, the trades we make. Unless something stops us, we will keep on converting living creatures into dead commodities. We trade deep, mossy forests for uselessly large homes. We trade wide-winged albatrosses for plastic six-pack rings. We trade a meadow miraculous with butterflies for an industrial park to manufacture My Little Ponies. Dear God, the madness. We trade a singing marsh for another Kmart parking lot. It's madness, this consumption, this eating up. We trade rhinoceros horn for sexual potency. We trade bear spleens for sexual potency. We trade Tibetan red deer for potency. What is this overriding need? We trade fence rows and goose sloughs for yet more golf course grass seed. We trade spotted owls for typing paper and trade old oaks for turning lanes. What are we thinking? For corn to burn in our cars, we're happy to give up monarch butterflies. For one more fitness center, we blithely give up the spring chorus of frogs. For oil terminals, we give away the salmon. It's a frenzied, mad auction of what is of ancient value for what is cheap and desperately sad. It's a mad rush to the end of the world. But the most terrible trade is the transmogrification of plants and animals into human flesh. Daniel Quinn wrote, since 1970, that same 1970, the biomass of the human species has gained 50 million tons. It came from other members of the community of life. At the same time, the world is losing 150 species a day. We are turning 150 species a day into human fat and gristle. And no one should assume that the human species can come out ahead in this trade. We are like people who live in a penthouse of a 100-story building, Daniel Quinn wrote. Every day, we send workers down to remove blocks from the foundation so we can make our penthouse bigger, fancier. This might work for 100 days, but for hundreds of years? At some point, we will have created so many channels of emptiness that the entire structure will collapse. Ever since I read this analogy, I've been haunted by a nightmare imagining of my grandchildren's future children, Theo's babies, Zoe's babies. With their arms spread, they're falling from a high penthouse, crying out like broken sparrows. Dear God, how much are we willing to lose? An Amur leopard or gut-shot black rhinoceros struggling to its knees, the hawksbill turtle, the chimpanzee, a mountain gorilla shot from the jungle trees, falling through an explosion of red parrots and a rain of green leaves, Yangtze sturgeon, Chinese sturgeon, Persian sturgeon, Atlantic sturgeon settling into the mud, snake river sockeye caught by its shining gill plates in a ghost net, dying in a falling rain of fish scales, snow leopard, marine iguana, staghorn coral dying in the warming sea. Condors and kit foxes chased from the cliffs by fracking pumps loud as diesel trucks. Black-footed ferrets startled from their burrows by the rhythmic thud of seismic oil explorations. The blue whale, the narwhal, hazed by underwater seismic oil explorations, oil guns exploding every 10 seconds. The thud, the pain of impact on the ears, every 10 seconds, the thud. The industrial growth economy has offered us a terrible bribe, Lewis Mumford said. These are the terms. We can have everything we want. Bouquets of Ecuadorian roses, elegant meals of seared tuna and pineapple, huge houses and room-sized cars, every comfort and pleasure sailing on through the sunlit days, closets full of clothes, kitchens shining with the most amazing slice and dice machines, music on demand, movies on demand, everything we want on demand, giant Airbuses, guaranteed free 2-day delivery of anything in the world, this glory, this bratwurst tailgate party, on the condition that we never ask where it came from or at what cost to the planet, at what cost in animal and human suffering, at what cost to the future or to what long-term effect. As long as we never look back and see the ruined forests and souring oceans, the deaths that are required to produce these pleasures. As long as we never look forward and foresee the ecosystem collapse, the dead zones, the danger. That's the deal. If you ask the cost, the glittering life becomes impossible. The extractive, all-consuming economy reveals itself as a giant going out of business sale, planetary and moral bankruptcy, the economy of dying. How can this be right? It isn't right, and people have figured this out. These are the people who live simply because they don't believe in taking more than their fair share. You who live gratefully because you believe life is a gift. You who step carefully because you know that life is fragile and precious. You who act lovingly toward the earth because you love it. This may sometimes be hard, to reject the extractive economy, but is it impossible? What if it were aliens that were invading the planet and causing this extinction? Derek Jensen asks us to imagine this. Imagine that it's not the industrial growth economy after all, not the fossil fuel corporations. Here the aliens are, green and nasty, flipper-footed, swarming Earth, infiltrating everything. They set about to sicken children with asthma, poison the groundwater, stir the storms into devastating forces, pour oil over the shrimp beds. They inject poisonous wastes into caves until the earth trembles. Summoning hurricanes, they drowned old women in their attics. They pump acid into the oceans. They blast cropland into deserts. They inundate estuaries. Aliens skim topsoil into the rivers, choke them with nitrogen. They skin the mountain forests using giant machines that cut trees off at the knees and carry them away. They kill off half the plants and animals on the planet, half the plants and animals so far. What would we say? That is morally monstrous. What would we do? The whole world would mobilize to stop them in their green flippered tracks.